Hi everyone, welcome to the 29th Sunday of Ordinary Time, and we're just going with the same theme throughout Mark. And so remember, there's three sections of Mark. Even though I put up four fingers, there's three sections. And the first one, it has to do with Jesus proclaiming the kingdom in the northern part of Israel. And then the second part begins when Jesus turns his face south towards Jerusalem. So Jerusalem is in the south here, and he's in the north. And he turns south, and he's telling everyone, get behind me, follow me, because I'm going the way of the Father, okay? And so, and then in the second part, he's talking about who belongs in the kingdom. And he brings a child out in his midst, and he says, it's the childlike who are in the kingdom. Why? Because they're small, because they're very trusting of their parents. Jesus trusts the Father, okay? And so we must trust Jesus, imitating Jesus. And they're carefree. Kids are carefree. They're free. They love. They're going on the way, and they're dancing along the way, and just like on a trail, and they're just on their merry way. Last week we saw that the rich young man couldn't be childlike because he had too many things. He was weighed down. He couldn't dance along the trail because his backpack was too full of stuff, you know. And so obviously that's a metaphor. And so you would think, now, if you've been following Jesus for a while, that you would get this message, especially if you're his apostles, but they don't, and we see that in today's gospel. So John and James, the sons of thunder, decide that they're going to ask Jesus, and Jesus is very nice about it. He's like, well, what do you want? And they ask, well, we want to sit on your right and on your left. Okay, this seems like a power move. Okay, like we want a place, right? We want authority, all right? This isn't being childlike. This is amazing. It's like, weren't they just... And by the way, the lectionary skips a part. So between the rich young man, there's about a paragraph that gets skipped, and then we get to the story. And Jesus predicts, again, that he's going to go down to Jerusalem and die. And so right after he predicts his death, two of his apostles go up to him, and they make this power move. Amazing. But we do that too. We're blind, right? Sometimes we just forget that we're disciples of Jesus Christ, and we want things done our way, okay? And so Jesus asks them, you know, are you willing to drink the chalice that I'm going to drink and be baptized with that? And they say they are, you know. And so we can't attribute all this bad stuff to them. But the thing is it's a power move, and the other 10 certainly see it as a power move, and they become angry. And Jesus is just you know, telling them, it's just like, look, the kingdom of, it's not mine to give you this authority. And that very much ties into the issues that we see today. All authority comes from God. God is the author, right? And so that's where authority comes from. But then God gives authority to certain people, okay? So governments have legitimate authority to enforce laws, right? In general, right? However, they do not have the authority to do things which are contrary to the gospel, and they do not have the authority to do things that are contrary to natural law. One of the things that governments do not have the right to do, especially to their own citizens, is murder. And not just their own citizens, anyone. The definition of murder is to take the life of the innocent. God has not given governments that authority. Okay, it's very simple. And yet, this political season in Colorado, there is a bill where the government is saying that it does have the authority to give people the right to take the life of their unborn children. Okay, now this has been going on for a while with abortion, but with this particular amendment, it's a constitutional amendment, and it's number 79. Okay, it's especially extreme, and it goes on to break other areas of authority that the government does not have. Okay, so the government does not have the authority, one, to give people permission to murder their own children. That's a misuse of authority. That's not legitimate authority, one. But that's been broken for a long time, and people have become numb to it. Even some people are in favor of it, which this isn't what this homily is about. This homily is about how extreme this particular one is. So you probably, if you're watching, I'm assuming you're pro-life, but if you're not, listen into this. And if you're going to talk to people who are also pro-choice, listen to this. If you're on the edge, listen to this, okay? Because probably can't convince you to become pro-life right now. But this is how extreme this bill is. So even if you're in that area, there's some things which just aren't acceptable. And the first one is that this bill takes away the right of parental notice. So your child, your daughter, if she gets pregnant, does not need to tell you anything and can go and have a medical procedure, can have an abortion. And you will never know. You'll never know if one of your grandchildren was once but is no more. This goes up all the way to late-term abortions, and so your daughter might go, without you knowing it, and get a late-term abortion, and that always comes with a risk. And I know it's every parent's nightmare that they might get a call in the middle of the night and something's happened to their child because something went wrong, and now they're being told that it was done by a medical procedure that they didn't authorize. Not trying to scare you, but I'm just saying this is where this is going. So no parental consent. The other crazy thing about this is now you and I will pay for these. Okay, so our tax dollars will start going to this. That's in Constitutional Amendment 79. Okay, and abortions go anywhere from $800 to the late-term ones, which are $30,000. You and I will start paying for those. All right, and now that we're going to be a state that does this sort of thing, that means other people are going to come into this state to have them done. And as far as I understand, we'll pay for those too. Too extreme. Way too extreme. All right. That violates our conscience. Also something that no government has the authority to do. To force us to pay for something that we are adamantly, because of our conscience and our religious beliefs, are adamantly against. Now we're forced to do it. Unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. Now, there might be some doubt, like, well, every time the church tries to, we have a history in Colorado of not winning in these life issue cases. But this is a constitutional amendment, so essentially what we need is 55% of people to vote no on 79. To vote no. Now, if they just thought it was an abortion issue, which is what it's shown as, you don't get any of this fine print, then probably it could pass. But if people knew how radical this was, especially that they have to pay for it and that they lose their God-given authority over their children, I don't think it will pass. Okay, we just need 55% of people to vote no on Amendment 79. Okay, it's too far, it's just too extreme, and we don't need that in our state of Colorado. Okay, this violates another principle, which is that of the common good. Okay, the government needs to enact laws for the common good. This is not for the common good in any way, shape, or form. So please pray when you get your ballots. Please pray when you go to vote. And please go into the depths of your conscience and ask yourself, what is God telling you to vote on this issue? I would say, please do not vote on Amendment 79, or please vote no on Amendment 79. God bless. Thank you.